Greetings, everyone. Keith here. Hoping everybody's having a good day, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're going to change course a little bit tonight. I am, anyway. I don't give a fuck what you guys do. I'm going to talk a little bit about myself tonight, about my story, and why you people need to get up off your ass and start doing this shit yourself. I've been in this specific research for 7 years. I quit everything. I quit my own fucking life. Because I knew there was something wrong. And I couldn't continue in that same insanity. And so I started doing my research, and after I started, it started building up, and everything started coming together. And like I said on my video last night, it's fucking beautiful. It's genius. And it seeps into every aspect of your life. And when you come to people like me who have been diligently digging down in all those rabbit holes that you're scared of going into, and ask us for a question and think that's the answer to all of your problems. And then when you get there, sit there and write this shit down or put this shit out as if though I told you to do it on a piece of paper, and then come back and accuse me of committing fraud or lying to you. I've never said that you need to enter documentation into those courts. I have never told you anything but what I do. And if you take that as your life and your truth, that's on you, sucker. So let's start at the beginning. I was born in 1966. I had 4 brothers and sisters. Grew up in a thick German Catholic town, Dubuque, Iowa. For the first 5 years, anyway. Then the system kicked into high gear and totally destroyed my entire family. Of course, the beginnings of that in the destruction of my family started generations before. My dad had 13 brothers and sisters. And in one generation, I'm the last. I had a son. Could have continued that legacy. But he passed on when he was 6 months old. They told me SIDS. And back then in my youngness, I was still stupid and ignorant, just like everybody else in this world. And don't try to sit there and say that I'm being arrogant and narcissistic and saying I'm better than you. I'm not. What I'm saying is I've been through the same shit you're going through. I've been through it. I beat child custody. I beat the support cases. I got my daughter. I walked out of jail without signing any documents under the threat of arrest that they wouldn't release me. They issued a bench warrant since then in the last 7 years. Come get me. How come they haven't come get me? So let's go back to that destruction of the family, where all 5 of us were put in foster homes after we were born in a foundling hospital. And there was certain documentation created. Like I said, it starts with a general journal that shouldn't have been a general journal to begin with. I don't know of any other creature on this planet that thinks they need to go to a doctor to do something that is natural. That's on you. That's because of your idiocy. That's because of your enslavement. And it is a mental enslavement that enslaves your spirituality. And the mental enslavement is to remember this and remember this and remember this. And they never once taught you how to think for yourself. This is why I tell people, don't believe me, don't believe your neighbor, don't believe the government, don't believe your mother. Do your own research so you know. And I get tired of watching people walk out that door of that high school thinking they graduated. They ain't got to learn anything else the rest of their lives. It's sick. So this foster system. I ended up in the foster care system for 5 years. Anywhere from 15 to 20 foster homes. I can't remember. Moving every 3, 4, 6 months. Kind of like my criminal record. Getting a charge every 3, 4, 6 months and walking in and out of them courtroom doors every 2 to 3 weeks. Every 2 to 3 weeks. I was in that courtroom. For 33 years. 93 cases. And you know, it was this system that turned me on to it when I started doing my research. And I saw all the codes and laws and everything and how they adopt them. They adopt them. Just like the English language. The English language is one of the most colorful languages in the world that ever was, and it's beautiful. Just like this scheme that they did. It's beautiful. It's genius. And that's what scares everybody. They're afraid to use their own intellect. So back to the foster care. Everything in life is about adoption. Everything in life is about adoption. Let me say it one more time. Everything in life is about adoption. Because if you like something, you want it to be part of your life, so you adopt it into your life. You adapt to it. If you don't, you don't. It's that simple. It's that simple. It's what you want in your life is what you adopt. But then you go around adopting things because somebody tells you have to do it. That's not the way it works. That's not adoption. Just because somebody else adopted something and it applies to them doesn't mean it applies to you. So back to the adoption, sitting around there or moving around from foster home to foster home for every 3, 4, 6 months. I got a very diverse education in my very young years when I was saying, you ain't my daddy. Fuck you. I'm still doing that today. You ain't my daddy. Fuck you. You want some help? You find your daddy. I seek counsel in my Father. He's in heaven. You want to keep seeking counsel in me? You're looking in the wrong place. You want proof? You got to find the proof that I found the same way I found it. You have to do your own looking. You have to do your own observation. Because if you're going to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results, you're going to get the same results. And that's insanity. That is fucking insanity. That is insanity. So when people like me try to show you that there's a different way of doing it, you have to learn how to get off your ass and do it. You can't expect me to do it for you. And then turn around when I try to help you explain how I'm doing it, you do something and then blame it on me. I ain't your daddy. Go suck someone else's dick. Come ask me for help. I'm going to give you the help you need, not the help you want. You don't like it? Go somewhere else. So back to the foster care every 2, 3, or every 3, 4, 6 months. Then I was finally adopted. A big turning point in my life. No more abuse, so I thought. See, abuse comes in different ways. See, in my very first 10 years of life, there's a lot of abuse, physical and sexual. But when I was adopted, somehow even my 10-year-old mind grasped that something's different here. Something's going to help. And you know, since the time I was 10 until the time I was 15, another 5 years before I was kicked out. Because I was too unruly. Too unruly because I refused to go to church anymore. I wasn't allowed to hang out with my immature friends. Keith, how are you going to learn how to fly like an eagle if you keep hanging with that flock of turkeys? Mom, the turkeys you claim that I'm hanging out with are the ones you want me to go to church with. So yeah, I don't want to go to church anymore. And when I laughed about it, she smacked me. But when she raised her hand to smack me again, it ain't going to happen no more. So yeah, you ain't my daddy and you ain't my mommy either. So then the next 38 years of my life, on my own, doing the best I can, finished high school. And before I finished high school, I signed up for the military. Thank God they said I wasn't fit for service. Kind of threw me for a loop, though, because my little heart at that time was set on being that big macho ego motherfucker that was going to go save the world. I ain't your savior. So fuck off. So here we are, 33 years later, in 93 cases, 40 years later. But 33 years later, I had 93 cases in and out of them courtrooms, like I said, every 2, 3, 4 weeks. Trying to figure it out. Couldn't figure out why this shit was happening or how I could do something about it. Because I was too busy with my life. I was too busy with that money. The very mechanism that fucks you all. See that right there? That's a piece of money. That's a piece of money. It just ain't made yet. You're a maker. You're a creator. This is why the scripture says ye are gods. God means creator. You are creators. You want to use your ego and say, well, you can't be God. You can't. You've misinterpreted because you ain't done your fucking research. Look in that scripture and find out. Find out for yourself if it doesn't say both. Jesus was hung on a cross and Jesus was hung on a tree. So which was it? Are you going to keep believing or are you going to read the scriptures to find out and discern for yourself? And in those scriptures, are you going to do your research even further and go back to the concordances? You're going to go to the Greek concordance or the Hebrew concordance? You're going to go to both of them and find out what the differences are so you can discern for yourself? No, you're going to ask somebody like me what I think and then take that and run for it as if though it's your idea. And then when it fucks you, you turn around and say, I'm the fraud. Fuck you. Tired of wasting my time on losers. Losers, lazy motherfuckers that want to sit in front of a boob tube, watch somebody else's fantastic life because theirs is so wonderful. So wonderful, it keeps them busy and occupied. You see what I'm saying? You lazy motherfuckers. I don't give a rat's ass whether you give me donations. I don't give a rat's ass what you do for me. I don't need your help. But somehow you seem to think you need somebody else's help. So when you go to them and then it doesn't work for you, you say, fuck them. They're the fraud. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. You're a fucking idiot. This is just a short collection. We got the Blue Jackets manual, 1940. That's the Navy manual. Steve, you might be familiar with that. We got Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. We've got the Dictionary of Household Hints and Helps, even. You know, for the mechanical kind of shit. Oh, look at that. Instant translator for medical language. You know, that's the one that uses all them Latin terms, right? Amazing how these doctors know Latin, but they don't know English enough that when they took that Hippocratic oath, they didn't realize they were taking an oath to Apollo and the Greek gods instead of standing on the fucking God of Christianity of the communities that they work for. College composition handbook, so you know what the fuck you're saying and know how to put it together, along with a concise English handbook. Just a few of them. And by the way, folks, like I said, I don't need a fucking thing from you, right? But the people that have been considerate enough to help me out, this is the kind of shit they help me out with. They don't send me donations in monetary form. They send me something that's really helpful. Oh, the American Admiralty. You know, there's a difference between American Admiralty and British Admiralty. Oh, look at that. The practice of the spiritual or ecclesiastical courts, to which is added a brief discourse of the structure and manner of forming the libel or declaration. Are you going to sue somebody for libel, or are you going to come to peace and declare your fucking word? The practice and jurisdiction of the Admiralty in 3 parts. You think I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about? You think I haven't fixed my life without an attorney and you want my help? And I keep telling you, you need to do your own research. I can't tell you everything I know. And that's the base that you need so you can comprehend this fucking amazing thing that they put before you called the color of the English language. And this thing about Edward Mandell House and Social Security and taxes and all that and the Federal Reserve. You don't know a fucking thing because you ain't done a fucking bit of your own research. You're depending on other people like me for one answer, and you think that one answer is going to give you the solution for your entire life. You're fucking morons. Corporations and other business associations, selected statutes and forms. This is what I'm going to show you something here. This is a thick book. 1,200 pages, folks. 1,200 fucking pages, you lazy motherfuckers. And I've got one thing marked in it. One thing. Revised Model Business Corporation Act. And remember that suits for libel or declarations. 2.03. Incorporation. Unless a delayed effective date is specified. Remember the video the other night that had a date of birth and a prior date of birth? Would that be a delayed effective date? That's what it indicates to me. A delayed effective date. And the date of birth is different than the prior date of birth. And don't they ask you for your date of birth? I've never once been asked for the prior date of birth because I never knew about it until I did my research. And you didn't know a fucking thing about it until I told you. My mother worked for Social Security Administration for 29 fucking years, and it's right in their fucking paperwork, and she didn't know it either. She's the one that told me, Keith, the police are your authority. Keith, The police are your authority. Fucking deceived. Unless a delayed effective date is specified. Remember, specified, specific, species, special. The corporate existence begins when articles of incorporation are filed. The Secretary of State's filing of the articles of incorporation is conclusive proof that the incorporators satisfied all conditions precedent to incorporation, except in a proceeding by the state to cancel or revoke the incorporation or involuntarily dissolve the corporation. So the Secretary of State, in the entering of the Bureau of Vital Statistics, certain data elements, creates the conclusive evidence based on precedent. Official comment, conclusive of Secretary of State's action on question of individual liability. Individual liability. Remember that term, individual? For corporate actions. Not for the corporation, but for the corporate actions. You know, when you go out and you perform commercially, just like the functions of public office, it looks like a corporate action. Under Section 2.03b, the filing of the articles of incorporation as evidenced by return of the stamped copy. Stamped copy. Pay attention. Of the articles with the fee receipt is conclusive proof that all conditions precedent to incorporation have been met, except in proceedings brought by the state. So when the proceedings are brought by the state, then it's not conclusive evidence, because the state knows there's something missing. If the living man walks into that court and says, I never put a stamp on that document, I want to see the document with a documentary stamp, you motherfuckers. You motherfuckers. Tell me I'm the fucking fraud, you motherfuckers. Thus, the filing of the articles of incorporation is conclusive as to the existence of limited liability for persons who enter into transactions on behalf of the corporation. And that's the first thing they do when you get that Social Security card. Now you're acting as an agent, investing on behalf, because you're acting on behalf of it by using those instruments. If articles of incorporation have not been filed, Section 2.04 generally imposes personal liability on all persons who prematurely act as or on behalf of a corporation, knowing that articles have not been filed. Section 2.04 may protect some of these persons to a limited extent. However, see the official comment on that section. 2.04. Liability for pre-incorporation transactions. All persons purporting to act as or on behalf of a corporation, knowing there was no incorporation under this act, are jointly and severally liable for all liabilities created while acting so. That means me, the judge, the plaintiff, the attorney, everybody is got some kind of liability. So you can either go in that court and accuse them of their liability and say you're not liable when there's no proof that any of them knew anything. You don't know that. You don't see that document with that stamp on it. And when you ask for it and they say, wait a minute, we don't have one, can you hold them liable if they didn't know? You motherfucking fools. Keep filing them suits. Keep filing that paperwork. Keep touching them dirty fucking pens. Keep making them inventions, fictions, and fabrications with that pen. Every comment on that paper, every comment you speak is an invention, fabrication, or fiction. So fuck you. By the way, that stream link's link down there if anybody wants to come up. As you can see, I'm a little riled, and I have no problem with anybody coming up on the panel. But don't come up here speaking stupid shit. I'm tired of it. I'm not going to put up with it anymore from anybody. So let's get back to it. 93 cases, 33 years. The last case I had, I stood up there doing the same thing. Fuck you. Fucking communist bastard. Suck my dick. I ain't going to do a fucking thing you tell me. And I didn't. I didn't sign any of their fucking paperwork. They tried to charge me with contempt of court while I'm sitting there holding my 4 documents and a birth certificate. Kind of relieved that contempt of court thing when I showed them the birth certificate, told them I had financial instrument that needed to be entered into evidence. Well, what's that? Well, what's that? Well, I need to hand it to your bailiff so he can transfer it to you. Bailiff. See, I didn't know enough at that time, but I was catching on, and I catch on pretty fucking quick. Because like I said, that fucking plan they got is a genius. It's fucking beautiful. Fucking beautiful. Yeah, it takes advantage of 99% of the population, but it's a fucking beautiful scheme. You can't imagine the genius it took to do that. Like I said, it seeps into every aspect of your life, and you let it. You let it. You let all these officials and agents shove their hand right up your ass and let them do your talking for you. That's why I say quit believing everybody. Learn how to do your own research so you know. 7 years, like I said, I quit the banking and everything. And now I'm trying to get back into that banking system. And they don't understand. Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve has an SR 30 form. It's a notice to everybody of a customer identification program exemption program under the Patriot Act. 19 CFR 149.3 under data elements says a buyer or a seller can give a number in lieu of a name and address. So there's 2 places where you don't have to give a name and address. And then under UCC 3-402, it says the authorized representative giving an unambiguous authorized signature on the instrument is therefore not liable for the person named in the instrument. So again, giving us another reason why we don't need to sign. If there's no liability, why do we need to sign? So, but then if you do sign, guess what? Now you're acting on behalf of a corporation. Now you hold some kind of limited liability. Now, when you bring those kind of facts out into the material facts and evidence and show that they are inconsistent and that is impossible for you to follow it, they have a problem. Because they can't make you do something that is impossible. Taking on a liability for signing something that says you're not liable. Signing an instrument is a corporate act. This book says you're liable. The UCC says you're not. So fix your fucking law, because I can't do both. I cannot serve 2 masters. You fucking insane motherfuckers. Why would you want to use a DBA? Again, that's battle of the forms. If you can't walk this world and let your yay be your nay, your yay be your yay and nay be nay, then fuck them. You may as well die. You may as well kill yourself. Do it. Off yourself. Quit being a motherfucking slave. Like I said, I walked out of that jail. I didn't have to write anything down then. See, what they offered me was a negotiable instrument for release paperwork. Tell me they wanted me to do paperwork as a release because I just got let out, discharged from that contract. They needed to contract with me right away. right the fuck away, and they had to try to impress upon me they weren't going to let me out unless I did. Excuse me, that contract's over. Are you going to tell me you're going to violate the judge's discharge order? I was out of there quicker than I've ever been in 35 fucking years. And if you guys don't catch on, that's all it's doing is slowing you down. You have to quit the insanity. You can change your name any day. Any day you can change your name. Because like I said, any comments, they're inventions, fabrications, and fictions. You can look it up. Comment etymology. Etymology. Just look it up. And you'll read it for yourself. Then you can walk in life and think about everything you say. And think about everything you write down. And know that it's nothing but fiction. See, my truth ain't your truth. It can't be. I cannot tell you my truth. It comes out fiction. Only you can know your own truth. So quit fucking lying to yourself. Just shut the fuck up and learn how to coin your words or purse your lips. I'm tired of other slaves thinking that 99% of the people do it. So, oh well, it must be okay. I went down to the fucking bank today to open a bank account without an identification and use a number in lieu of a name and address. And in the process, I explained to this banker, and she knew very well what I was talking about. When I mentioned 12 U.S.C. 411 says that the Federal Reserve notes are strictly for advances from one Federal Reserve institution to another by transfer agents and for no other purpose are allowed. And she shrugged her shoulders and said, so what? They have no problem with the fact that they can commit a federal felony by handing them notes out to you. And in that, they expect that you're going to continue to violate the law. Keep doing it. Keep doing it, you motherfucking slaves. Keep doing it. That's what makes it hard for people like me. And the thing that makes it harder is the people that reach out to me for help. And when I give them those ideas of things that I've done, they think that's all 100 a go shot for them, that they can do the same thing. And when it doesn't work because they don't have the comprehension, because they just believed me and didn't do their fucking research to see how it applied in their life, then they turn around and call me the fucking fraud. You fucking punk ass motherfucking bitches. You bitch ass motherfuckers. Suck my cock. I'll never get over it. I don't understand why you will just go ahead and get on your knees and suck somebody's cock. That's never been natural to me. Police officer comes up to me. They got some kind of commotion going on around the building. I stick my head out. I'm wondering what's going on. They tell me to mind my own business and get back to my apartment. I tell them, fuck you. You trying to tamper with the witness? You trying to tamper with the witness? Tell me to close my eyes and don't listen? That's hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. They don't want you telling everybody about their fucking evil shit. So that's what you do. You go back to the fucking boob tube. You go back to the fucking boob tube because you ain't got the balls. So you sit there and watch that boob tube, and then the next night, guess what? Sirens and lights, and you look out the window, and they're down the street picking up one of your neighbors, hauling him off to jail. You don't give it no never mind. You go right back to your fucking TV. The next night, you hear them lights and sirens. Oh, they're down at the other end of the block. They're arresting somebody else. The next night, they're across the street. The next night, they're at your neighbors. When the fuck you think they're coming after you, you fucking punk-ass slave? You're a slave. They know exactly where you live. They know where you work. They know where you went to school. They know who your doctor is. They know how much you pay in taxes. They know what medications you're on. They know who's fucking you and who you're sucking cock from. Because you tell them. All your ego wants to sit there and blah, 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 blah. Just like Jack Talcott. And cry about being abused. And reach out to everybody else looking for solutions for you. Because you can't do your own fucking research. You fucking bitch-ass fucking slaves. It's vital. It's vital statistics jurisdiction. Just like we mentioned last night. Let me pull that up. Let me pull that up so I can show you again. Because this should sink into you. Because like I said, that time when I was put up for adoption and they totally destroyed my family. That was the total destruction. But the destruction started before that. The destruction started here. The destruction started right there. You see that? See, mom started out with a prenatal obstetrician, keeping track of that baby's heartbeat and everything, make sure there was something in there, right? Then when she was ready to have that baby, she went to the hospital and a medical record was carried on through with her and the obstetrician, and they added a pediatrician, because now they could see that the baby's going to be born. He's going to have some feet, proving that he has standing. He can stand. One day he'll be able to stand. So that medical record then goes to the birth clerk. Now, why would a medical record go to a birth clerk? That sounds like a financial transaction that happened in the hospital. And they took information from a mother and called her an informant. And then logged everything in a birth log. And then transferred it all over to the Bureau of Vital Statistics, which is a department within the State Department of Health. Estate recovery is done through Health and Human Services. Every state must have an estate recovery program. This is as simple as it gets. It culminated over 7 years. And I got people sitting there pointing their fingers at me, calling me the motherfucking fraud. You ignorant motherfuckers. I'm showing you the evidence of where the motherfucking fraud started, and you want to call me a fraud. You fucking cocksucking bitches. This is why they don't let me in the court. Because they can't prove I'm the fraud. Yet you think you can do that? You fucking sorry ass, fucking punk ass motherfuckers. I'm done with this. I've done my research. I'm fixing my life. I ain't got time for none of you anymore. None of you. Not a single one. You want to ask me questions? Make sure it's a damn fucking good question. And make sure that you went through my videos. I got over 700 motherfucking videos. And if you ain't going to take the time to do your research, then fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.